Another thing that's been very exciting regarding David is we homeschool.
And I like it. So much more fun than normal school.
Yeah.
No more peer pressure.
Yeah.
And he was in algebra, and multi-steps was very difficult for David. He couldn't remember them. Memory was a very big issue for David.
Can you hear her okay? Yeah.
It was a very big issue for David. And and after about a year and a half of treatment in algebra, I had only been able to give him like half of a chapter, or maybe even 10 problems. It depended on the day. After that, after treatment about a year and a half, I started noticing he was going quicker. He was picking up the steps, and we were able to do a chapter a day.
That 19-year-old that we just had that's a swimmer for, was it Ohio State University?
Yeah.
You notice that she had the same thing with math. She had the anxiety issues. She's gained weight, and she's a NCAA Division III swimmer. Asthma, thinking, she said she has anxiety issues. She can't think straight. And after one treatment with our IV protocol, one day, she said the thought process was the way she described it as effortless, where she could think, and there was, everything made sense. And it was just after one treatment. So what you're describing is actually, it's a higher cognitive function that's being impaired because of the toxicity issue.
Yes.
So a lot of times, and that's one reason, you remember what I told you when we first started David's treatment, that the people that seem to have this affliction, i.e. the genetic predisposition for the inability to detoxify the metals, and that develop PDD or ADD or ADHD or autism spectrum disorder, that by definition they are far more cognitively superior than their neurotypic peer group. Their raw ability to process information is much greater. And again, I haven't been able to prove it yet, but I believe I will, that I believe that the allele that defines the predisposition for the inability to excrete is the same allele that defines raw cognitive ability in a human. And I think it's the same polymorphism that's taking place where the person has the inability to excrete happens to be in the same genetic area as the one that defines the more superior cognitive ability. So it only seems to affect the more intelligent, the highly intelligent population spectrum that we have.
And that's not fair.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's what's funny, because this issue isn't just an atrocity for our children. It's an atrocity against humankind because it's preventing the evolution, the continued higher ascension of mankind. So just imagine if all the brightest minds had been impaired because of a toxic environmental situation 100 years ago, we wouldn't be driving in cars or in planes.
That's right.
We would be still in a horse and cart and in a buggy.
That's right.
So it's actually, that's one reason that the name of the DVD is Autism, the Misdiagnosis of Our Future Generations. And it actually affects not only our children, but it's actually affecting the future of mankind.
I believe that completely.
So I'm actually looking forward to, I know you gave me this little thing that I got to give to my son, so you guys can play Wii over the internet. I'm going to tell you a little story. I was in Disney World at Magic Kingdom for this conference with the company that I'm involved with, and the vice president of that company has a son with severe autism, well, moderate autism, I guess. And he introduced me to his son. He's talked to me about his son before, and Abby was standing right next to me, and same age. And I think I told you Abby's ranked number 4 in the world right now in Taekwondo.
Yes.
Yeah. So Abby's standing there, and this kid was all over the place, and Dad couldn't really control him. He was pulling and not in control of his behavior. And Abby tried to engage in conversation, and he responded, but it was very obvious that things were amiss. And after they left, Abby asked me, he goes, "What's wrong with him, Dad?" And I said, "Well, he's got mercury, that he's got metal poisoning." And he was quiet for a second. He goes, "Isn't that what I had?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Is he going to be okay?" And I said, "I don't know. It all depends whether his dad gets him treated or not." It was really something for me. I was very grateful that my son was able to ask me what is wrong with him? Isn't that the same thing that happened to me? And is he going to be okay? And in his, I could,
What was he thinking?
right, exactly.
Now my dad.
Well, I don't know whether he's thinking that way. I think maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But I think what I saw in his eyes was us trying to figure out how can we figure out so that nobody has this problem. That's what I could see in his face, in his eyes.